Hi there, everybody. Welcome to The Advocates. This is Dan Cirucci. We're back again. It's been a while since we've had a guest in the studio, and I've got Warren Evans with me now. And Warren, I'm wearing my school colors, and if I were to flip my my mask up, I would even show you my school V for Villanova. And Warren, you are a graduate of Rensselaer.
I went to RPI in Troy, New York, and I also went to Stevens Institute in Hoboken, New Jersey for my master's.
And Hoboken, New Jersey,
Yes.
the home of Frank Sinatra.
That's right.
Is that still a big thing there, Sinatra?
I don't think so.
You know, as the years go on, fewer and fewer people, you know, there are young people today who, dare I say, don't even know who he was. Warren, you are a partner and CEO of the ReWire Group.
Yes.
And this is very exciting, folks, and it's a particularly apropos topic right now. I think even more so, Warren, in the middle of the lockdown that we've all been through, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what the ReWire Group is.
The ReWire Group was formed as a family business. So my father's part of the group and my four brothers. So it's really what I would call an ESCO. It's an energy services company. And there's three parts to it, Dan. There's a lifestyle part, which we call the Energy Brothers. And we really promote the clean energy life. And then there's two commercial entities, ReWire Energy, which is for commercial, business, and multifamily, and ReWire Digital, which is our software arm. And these three entities, you know, I call them LED, kind of work together. So they're all under this ReWire Group. And my brothers and my father are, you know, extremely talented and run those other divisions.
Are we talking solar here now, Warren, or what is this all about?
Yeah, I think solar is a key part of it, especially with our lifestyle division, the Energy Brothers, where we sell community solar in upstate New York. But it's really more than that, Dan. It's about energy efficiency and it's about sustainability. So we kind of wrap that together in what we call the clean energy life.
So what do you mean when you say community solar?
Community solar is new. And it's not available in New Jersey, unfortunately, but
a lot of things aren't available in New Jersey because we're a very highly regulated state. But go ahead, Warren.
Oh, I don't mean to get you off on that, but
no, I don't want to go off on that. Go ahead.
Community solar is where people can sign up to what they call a solar farm or a solar garden, which is off on an isolated farm in New York. And then their energy bill can be reduced up to 10% because they're part of that renewable energy source. So this is something that's new, and like we joked about, it's not New Jersey yet, but it's something that is in New York State, and New York State is very progressive with that kind of thing.
Yeah, you were telling me, and you're originally from New York State. New York State has been very innovative and really going after a lot of high-tech companies, software companies, chip makers, and so forth and so on. So these people draw their energy from a solar farm.
Yes,
and
yes.
That is shared with many, many other people or businesses.
Absolutely. So if you don't want solar on your roof,
right,
or you can't afford to do a solar implementation, in New York State you can sign up for community solar and get the benefits without having to have the hardware or the installation or the associated costs. Very convenient.
Yeah, and do you see that as the vanguard? Is that where things are going more and more, Warren?
I think so. I think, you know, energy being distributed and being connected to the grid, I think that's the future. Hopefully it will come to other states. And soon, I think you're going to see battery storage being more and more prevalent on the grid to pair up with renewable energy sources.
You gave me an interesting story behind how ReWired got its name. How did it get its name?
Well, each one of us, myself, my father, and my four brothers have kind of a specialty. Like my one brother, Kenny, the youngest, was a Wall Street finance guy.
Wow.
My brother Lee, who's the oldest, was a pharmaceutical sales vice president for 20 some years. My brother Al has always been in IT deployment, so he's our kind of like our CIO. And so him and I are both in technology. My father was a General Electric executive. So he worked GE Silicones in New York State, and he was head of the synthetic diamond division in Ohio.
Wow.
So we kind of formed together after our mother passed away, and into a company, because we all kind of have our own area. Where I'm the engineer, I'm the Scotty, the mad
Right.
scientist, the technology guy.
Well, Rensselaer's a pretty impressive place to graduate
It's a tough
from.
place.
But wait, folks, I got to tell you, did you just hear this? I mean, is this an American success story or what? I think this is a real American
Thank
success
you.
story,
Yeah.
Warren. And folks, don't let anybody tell you it can't be done. It can be done, but 5 brothers. What
Right.
was that like growing up with 5 brothers?
Usually it was, as you can imagine, there was a lot of wrestling, and we had boxing gloves and weights everywhere. And before my father got home, at the end of the day, though, we had to make sure anything we broke was repaired, because you could imagine 5 guys, not quite as big as me, but
I mean, did your parents keep having children because they were hoping for a girl? I don't know. I'm tempted to ask that. I can't help it.
I don't know. I've never asked.
You're
I've never
not
asked.
really sure. But what
It was
an
fun
amazing,
growing up.
and you all get along. You're in
Yes.
this business and you all get along. I
Yeah.
got the feeling your father was a tremendous influence on all of you.
Yeah, my father is a chemist, a scientist, and so, you know, we grew up in that environment, very much fact-based, very much in a learning mode, and so his influence has been tremendous.
Unbelievable.
and-
So they all had like a scientific or mathematical background.
Or finance, or marketing, yeah, or
Right.
technology.
Right. You have a background in technology.
Right.
That's what you were originally in. And you told me that, this I found interesting too, that people move to, let us say, solar energy as one of the alternatives. They move there to save money, but they stay for the whole panoply of benefits, a whole range of benefits that they get out of it.
Exactly. You know, I went solar about 6 years ago, so we essentially have a power plant on our roof.
Right.
We went to
And he lives here in
Yeah,
South Jersey, folks.
yeah.
Go ahead.
We went to electric cars last year, so all our cars are electric now. So we plug in, and Dan, we drive on sunlight. So there's a convenience factor that you just can't deny. With these new cars and new technology, it's like driving a computer around. I think also being sustainable, we tried to reduce our waste, get rid of single-use plastics, and overall, I think there are health benefits from doing that. Getting rid of the fossil fuels improves the air quality in the home. Not driving around breathing carbon monoxide in the car. You know, all those benefits start to wrap up, and I would say actually upgrade your lifestyle.
Well, so that you don't have to be, how can I put this, an environmental zealot
Right.
to adapt this and benefit from it.
I think that's exactly right. Most people, as you said, come to save money, but then they experience all the related benefits of it. So I don't really have an electric bill anymore, and I don't have a gasoline bill anymore. So all that money I was spending, we were up around $450 a month of electricity. Now, I worked for PSE&G for 20 years. I was a nuclear engineer, and I produced the power, and I went into their software division. So I was one of those guys who never looked at their bill. But now, Dan, a lot of that money goes right in our pocket. So like you said, I mean, you don't have to be a tree-hugging person or running through the
That's
woods
what
in a
I meant to say. You
loincloth.
don't have to be a tree hugger. Yes.
Running through the woods, eating berries and bark, and no. This is like a first world life with a third world carbon footprint, is what I like to say.
And there are a lot of folks I know that don't even look at their gas and electric bill.
Absolutely not.
As long as they get, it seems to be in range of what they
Right.
usually pay. They figure, but you don't really know, folks, what you're paying for, and you don't know how much money you could be saving. And how
Absolutely.
much better off you could be. Now, you told me that in the case of your house, very soon it will have paid for itself. You will get the full return on your investment, and then it's free and clear.
Well, I did something a little different. I leased, so I have a lease payment,
Okay.
but I also we do get incentives in New
Okay.
Jersey. I think that's being phased out, but that covers my lease payment. So
Okay.
I'm
So
free
there
and
you
clear.
are.
I know
And-
that Denise mentioned that she bought her panels, which people get a nice tax incentive from, but there are different options,
This
especially
is
in New
Denise,
Jersey.
who has the show
Yeah.
that also tapes here. I know many of you follow Denise. Yes, and it's also, isn't it a benefit when you go to sell your property?
Hopefully most people will see it that way. You have a power plant on your roof, so there is a level of independence there. And I think that was another light bulb that went off in my head, especially around the pause and the quarantine when things got a little weird. It is nice to have some level of independence and the ability to have your own power being generated on your roof.
Now, Warren, where's your website? How do people find your website?
We have two websites to make it confusing. The Energy Brothers is one website. That's where we have
TheEnergyBrothers.com?
Yes, TheEnergyBrothers.com. That's one website, and
Right.
that's more of a customer lifestyle. And then we have ReWireEnergy.com, and that's more commercial and business.
TheEnergyBrothers.com or ReWireEnergy.com.
Yes, you got it, Dan.
Either one of those. And before we take a break, I want to tell you what the word of the week is. We do a word of the week every show, and this week it's progeny. Progeny. Now, it's a fancy word, but it basically means the descendants of a person, your offspring, or the young born of any living organism. So offspring of animals, plants, and so forth. So when we're investing in cleaner energy, we're investing in our progeny. We'll be right back. This is Dan Cirucci with Warren Evans. We'll be right back.
There you go, Richard. Oh, is that too hard for you?
No. Is it too hard for you?
Woo, we're playing catch now. Oh, shit.
What do I want to be when I grow up? Maybe a musician? A veterinarian? Maybe an equestrian? A mommy? Well, why not be all these things and more? Consider joining me, Dr. V, with friends and colleagues as we explore a wide range of topics together. V is for variety, here on RVN TV.
Number 7. Number 8.
9 regular. Oh, wait. 13 giant. The usual?
Of course. Number 1.
Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
today.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Dan Cirucci again, and this is The Advocates, by the way. I think you can see that. And I'm with Warren Evans, who's partner and CEO of the ReWire Group. It's an amazing story of a very successful company that is on the cutting edge of the energy revolution, shall we say, the clean energy revolution in this country. And Warren, you came up with a word, or I don't know that you came up with it, but you mentioned it to me, called prosumer. It's like a consumer. We ought to think of ourselves more as prosumers. It's like a consumer, except that this person produces as well as consumes, which we all pretty much do.
Nowadays, sure. I mean, your program is an example of you having this great show and being able to put it on to the internet. This wasn't possible 20 years ago. I mean, you would need, I don't know, millions of dollars worth of equipment. But a prosumer, I think it was coined by Alvin Toffler.
Yes, who wrote Future Shock.
Yeah. So as you said, it's somebody who is not only a consumer, which we all are, but also produces. So in the renewable energy area, it's producing your own power from renewable sources like solar.
So we have to remember that. We have to think of ourselves that way. We're not just consuming things, but we're also producing.
Yes.
And we have to look at the whole picture.
Absolutely.
When we're considering this.
Yeah, I mean, it opens up new economic opportunities for somebody who, let's say you produce your own power, but you have excess. And maybe someday you'll be able to sell it back to PSE&G or sell it back to other customers, depending on the technology and the right solutions being put in place. And we're at ReWire Group, we're working on that. Our
That's
digital
very
division.
exciting. So if you don't use all the energy you're producing, you can sell it to someone else.
Yes. That's just right. Will soon be available to prosumers.
Now, it is amazing. It's a wonderful way to look at it. But Warren, your company, you also go in and consult with businesses about
Absolutely.
energy uses? Tell us about that.
So we have a model that we typically use, and we call it CARES. And CARES means when you're talking to a business or somebody who owns a multifamily residential, you try to understand what their concerns are. Do they want to save money? Do they want to increase the comfort and maybe have a marketing angle? Or do they want to reduce their carbon footprint, or all three? So once we have an understanding of that, we can help them reduce their usage with energy efficiency. That's or you do an assessment first, that's the A. And then you help them reduce their consumption, that's the R. And then you help them to electrify certain appliances where it makes sense. Now, electrification is much more efficient, and so it reduces the costs and improves the air quality.
So tell us what each letter means again.
Yep.
C
is concerns, what comfort, carbon footprint, cost. A is assess, try to figure out what's going on in the building.
Right.
R is reduce demand through energy efficiency. E is electrify, so you replace the fossil fuel-based appliances with electric. And then S is for sustain, which means then you add renewable energy, which is cheaper. And renewable energy is cheaper usually because it's technology-based, and Dan, you're not paying for fuel. So the fuel is provided by nature, so all the fuel costs are cut out. So that's our CARES model.
And that's what the letters mean in CARES. And you hear this word sustainability a lot, okay? And I think a lot of people, we're hearing it all the time, and there are a lot of people that don't really know what it actually means. And you're saying, Warren, that it simply means renewable.
Yeah. Sustain means that typically when we want energy from this earth, we have to extract it. We have to mine for it or do some type of transformation. With sustainable and renewable energy, the fuel is provided by nature. So you're not extracting the fuel and how energy produced is coming from the natural world. And so it's a different economic and it's a different technology way of producing energy than really what we've ever done on a vast scale before.
And if a business or potential client contacts the ReWire Group, you can come in, find out what their concerns are.
Yes.
And focus and assess, do an assessment, and it's possible you may even find cost savings and ideas that they haven't even thought about.
Yeah, typically any building, on average, can save 20% just through energy efficiency and building solution measures without even going to renewable energy. So the first fuel, they call it, is energy efficiency. And you can get a lot of benefits just by doing that. And when we did it at our house, and we've seen this in other areas, is that your house becomes way more comfortable. And so there's side benefits that you don't even expect.
So it becomes more comfortable.
More comfortable.
Would you say that it's a more even delivery of, let's say, heat or air conditioning or whatever? I mean, how is that, Warren?
Yeah, with a tighter insulation. Usually it's the attic where a lot of heat and energy escapes. I think that's tightening up the attic and then working on the basement and tightening that up. And then the last zone is that, the area where people live and doing things there. But it's really the attic and the basement where you get the most bang for the buck.
So it's not just, the way you're getting your energy that's going to change, but it's also the way you are keeping
Yes.
the product of your energy and making the most of it.
Absolutely.
So you have to look at it
Holistically.
Holistically.
Yeah.
Is what we would say. I was going to say integrated.
Yeah, that's what, when we talked earlier, you talked about integrated solution and you hit it right on the nose.
Right. And there are still some active federal and state incentives for doing this that are still.
Right, it is in somewhat of a flux and it depends on for state.
Okay,
so
but you guys are up on all that.
Yeah.
You can tell clients, you can plug clients into all that.
Absolutely.
You're
That's
up
part
on
of
all that.
part of what we need to do, and especially my brother Ken, who's the Wall Street guy. He's deep into the financial analysis, which is pretty significant. They don't make it easy.
No, they don't always make it easy, of course.
But that's okay.
But if you have somebody who can help you jump through those hoops, then you've got a leg up on that whole thing. And Warren, you told me that you were even thinking about writing a book about how to live the clean energy life.
Right, exactly. The idea is we all live a first world life. We're used to that, right? And we enjoy our first world life. We have our cars, we have our big houses, but what if we could reduce our carbon footprint, but still live the same life, or maybe even a better life? So how to live the clean energy life is about evolving from the first world to what I call a zero world. And that means that you have a low carbon footprint, but you enjoy all the benefits of technology and all the advancements, and you're not sacrificing anything. You're saving money, you're reducing your carbon footprint, and you're upgrading your life.
And it's a real part of your everyday life. It's not some pie in the sky dream anymore. It's here. And it's a real part of your everyday life. Okay? And this is a fascinating topic. And you told me that you have a background in, what did you say, in nuclear as well?
Yes, I graduated from RPI as a nuclear engineer, and I spent 20 years in the nuclear industry.
And so what happened with nuclear, Warren?
Well, we rely on nuclear power in this country. However, the technology is aging. The plants that I worked at were designed in the 70s.
Right.
So without new technology coming in and replacing those old reactors, it is kind of a bleak future for nuclear. But I do believe, and my thinking on this has changed recently, that in fact we probably do need some of the new technology reactors to come online in order to feed the electric demands of the future.
So there's two things that happened.
Right.
We didn't keep up with it. We didn't keep up with the changes in technology, and new things came along as well.
Right. I would say that there was a lot of improvements to the old technology that did occur.
Okay.
I was all part of that, but you can only go so far, Dan.
Didn't we
yeah.
have a bailout here in New Jersey for nuclear?
Yeah, I
Recently,
mean that
we had
did
a bailout.
that did affect the plants that I used to work at. And again, I do believe that those plants are critical to our overall electricity
Yes.
demand, but it is time for an upgrade. It is time to bring the new technologies online.
But they're still part of the mix.
They absolutely are, and
Yeah.
they're keeping the grid stable.
Because you don't hear as much about it now as you used to.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of plants have gone offline and been decommissioned. A lot have. But this is something that we're going to have to resolve in the next 10 or 15 years. Bill Gates is actually doing a lot with advanced reactors, and he's a big
I know.
He's a
and
big advocate.
It's interesting that you mentioned Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing this to a close now. Warren Evans is CEO of the ReWire Group. It's interesting that you mention him, Warren, because he is the source of my quote of the week. This has been a wonderful chat with Warren. The website again, The Energy Brothers.
TheEnergyBrothers.com
or
ReWireEnergy.com.
ReWireEnergy.com. Don't forget it, folks. This is an unbelievable company. Here's the
Thank you, Dan.
quote. My pleasure. Here's the quote from Bill Gates. Really, advanced civilization is based almost entirely on advances in energy. Bill
Excellent.
Gates. This is Dan Cirucci. This
Fantastic.
is The Advocates. Tune in again.